It's a treat to have you in our city,
Well,
and you know,
Mayor,
I'm serious. Come back early and often.
I-
We'll always have the red carpet out for you.
I'm actually blown away. I've had friends that have lived here for years, and you just don't expect it. You land in and you just see such a beautiful city, so much going on, arts, entertainment, culture, restaurants, really blown away.
Well, it's a great city. I've been here 40 years, and I have no desire to go anyplace else, but we have so much potential, and we do have great people. We speak 64 different languages in our Omaha public school system, so we have a lot of people from faraway places, and particularly Sudan. We have the largest population of Sudanese in the nation of any city.
Yes.
So,
That's incredible.
A lot of diversity, but we need to use that diversity. Tell me how you're using the diversity in your city, and how some of the things you talked about today.
Sure.
You particularly have this outreach into the public and getting people to do a lot of things for themselves.
Yeah, well, the more we found that we can engage our residents in doing things that they may not be used to doing, but engaging in things that focus on specific core outcomes that we're looking to have. So whether it's forming a senior citizen police academy, because we knew a lot of times our elderly in our communities have eyes on what's going on, look out at the street a lot of time. If we could get them to know what's happening with the police department, we can create a better partnership. Our business community came together and said, you know what? Let's work with you to create a police foundation. And we've done a lot of innovations through it. My favorite is we had a lot of problems with getting guns off of our streets. So we offered people through private donations a anonymous tip line that has a very lucrative payout if you help us get a gun off the street. So you call up, you get 4 digits just by making the call. And if we get a gun, we've gotten them within 6 minutes. You tell us somebody that might have a gun on them. And then you call back and you get another 4 digits, and with those 8 digits you can get $1,000 out of a number of banks in our city. So that's helped us get illegal guns off of the streets, and you know, a lot of innovations in technology have come through our partnerships, bringing private sector companies that have certain expertise and they've helped their fleets manage better, or personnel. We've asked them to come in and take a review of what we're doing, and we've been able to make a lot of gains with that as well.
Well, I heard in your commentary today certainly a passion for people and the sensitivity of people helping people. It seems like you were getting more blended into a community policing concept. Now those words have been so misused across our nation. So what is your concept of basically bringing your professional law enforcement together with your citizens as we deal with this whole issue of guns and gangs and violence?
Well, you know what's interesting? It's been evolving a lot, and so we've had a lot of initiatives along the way, but the one we're rolling out this year, and I just talked about in my State of the City address this year, is one that's in partnership with John Jay College Criminal Justice, with a gentleman named David Kennedy, and they found out in towns like High Point, North Carolina, and other places, that when you get community leaders, people who have a lot of legitimacy and credibility in their community, together with those sects of people that are often involved in gangs, and you sit them down and say, look, if you continue doing what you're doing, there's going to be swift consequences. And we created the law enforcement, federal, state, and local law enforcement coalition to let them know you could choose to go with us, and that means we're going to give you social services, connections to work, and the like, and we're going to help you. And if you don't, if any violence breaks out in your sect, whether it's just one person, he's part of your sect, we're going to bring all of law enforcement down on you. And what they've seen in other towns, right, these community stakeholders actually talking to the gang members, is they had massive reductions. In High Point, 30-40% drops in violent crime. So we're about to roll that initiative out. I'm very excited about it.
Talk a little bit about the initiative you put together with the pro bono efforts of all of your attorneys and your mix of the city of Newark to begin to help get those who needed to get their driver's license, get their records cleaned up, all of that, because that is certainly a big issue in all cities, including Omaha.
Absolutely, and we have a lot of people coming out of prison, and what happens is they meet all these brick walls, and then out of hopelessness and despair comes often crime. And so what we've done is said, let's figure out if we can bring lawyers together, and we asked a lot of our law firms to come to a meeting to discuss this. That a little bit of pro bono time invested in actually helping these guys get their driver's license, untangle warrants they might have for traffic violations now, and even expungements of their records. We have some expungement laws in New Jersey that are not being taken advantage of by people who qualify. That we could actually remove these barriers, open up economic opportunity, and better integrate people back into productive lives. And it benefits us not only in saving the cost of incarcerating people, arresting and the like, but it adds to our tax base because now they're getting jobs and paying to the common good.
Well, we have something in common that we both participate in city services.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about what you're doing with your particular program as you get mentors generated from the citizenry to help at-risk youth.
Absolutely. I mean, what people don't realize, for the amount of time they spend watching their favorite TV show, 4 hours a month, 4 weeks, an hour a month, is the amount of time that they could be spending mentoring a young person. And all studies show that mentoring helps to reduce levels of crime amongst kids, reduce level of unsafe early sexual practices, and most importantly to me, it raises their level of academic achievement for just a small investment of time. And so we've created a lot more avenues for people to really engage in that. And put a community call out to folks. Let's increase the number of mentors we have by the thousands and take on this issue. And we know that there's a very small, and you know this, most cities are an overwhelming majority of good people, 95, 97, 98%. There's a very small percentage often of at-risk youth that get caught up in crime and violence that are causing a lot of the challenges that you have. If you can target those youth, especially at the early ages, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, with these kind of supports, their lives open up in terms of flower and blossom in terms of potential.
You were on the city council, so you were one of 9, is that
Yes.
right? And I was one of 7 on the city council. It's a lot different being mayor when you're one of 1.
Yes.
Why don't you comment a little bit about that, on the differences and the advice and counsel you would give people like me that are in that same situation as you
Well,
have?
I hope your people understand. I mean, you literally have, and I was told this my first year as mayor. Was down in Washington, D.C., and Dianne Feinstein, who's a senator from California, but was the mayor of San Francisco, she came up to me and said, "You have the most difficult job in America." Because as you know this, whether it's sewer systems, parking meters, snow removal, crime, healthcare, there's not a thing that goes on in your city that you're not responsible for. And it's a tremendous obligation, but as well as it's a tremendous, as you know, privilege. And the beautiful thing as mayors that we find out, and what I had to find out, is that you can't do it all alone. If people just want your mayor to solve your problems, they're going to be waiting for a while. But if you will join with the mayor, the business sector, the arts sector, young professionals, whomever, we can make a lot of strides. And it's a wonderful opportunity, especially when you get a city like this, that is on the move, that is more and more showing the nation who you are. That you can get a lot of momentum. But my request, being on his turf, is that people really, before you criticize, in fact, the quote I use, one of my favorite quotes, that you have the right to criticize only if you have the heart to help. And I really hope that more people will stop talking about the problems and join with you in doing something. Because at the end of the day, the opportunities outnumber the problems that you have. If you seize those opportunities, eventually the problems are going to melt away.
So in this country, we are so busy fighting with each other, Republicans and
Yes.
Democrats and Presbyterians and Baptists and whatever
Yes.
else.
Yes.
You and Governor Christie have worked on some bipartisan things. What advice would you give us here in Nebraska as I seek bipartisan efforts with our governor and with other mayors of a different party here in the metro?
Yeah, you know, if you focus on your differences, you can't get beyond them. And the governor and I have a lot of differences, but when we came together, when he was governor-elect, we said, let's shock a lot of people. What are some issues we agree on? And we quickly found that education, we had a great alignment on our views. The willingness to attract jobs and businesses, 100% aligned there. And the crime fighting, which was something he and I had already worked on when he was U.S. Attorney. So we said, we can find ways to shock people, that a Republican and a Democrat, left and right, can actually work together, then we might be able to pull other people with us. So people always want to try to bait me into criticizing him and the like. And I say, look, if there's a area of disagreement that makes sense, because sometimes having policy debates and the like is very important for democracy. But gratuitous smacks that we give each other all the time is just not helpful, and it distracts us from the progress we could be making working together.
A great message. I look forward to seeing you at the U.S. Conference of Mayors in Baltimore in June.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, please come back again. We'll schedule another time here and let you sample some more good things of Omaha, Nebraska.
May I say one editorial comment before I go? Because I'm on tape here, and I want you to know how extraordinary your mayor is, because you've been a guy that's been willing to stand up and make decisions, not based upon popularity, but based upon what's going to help your city make progress. And I think that's great leadership. All of our great leaders, from Churchill to Lincoln around the globe, have been men that in very difficult times and difficult circumstances were willing to take stands that push their larger community forward, not worrying about popularity. And you are a popular mayor because I've done the test. I've talked to hotel employees, I've talked to people on the streets. But I will tell you this, watching from afar, you're also a courageous man and a man of honor. And I'm grateful to be in your presence.
Well, I appreciate it, and I thank you so much.
Thank you.
My mother would love to hear this word.
We'll send her a copy.
Yes.